Okay, so let's talk about a powerful and honestly, a surprisingly simple system to really get scripture off the page and into your heart. A way to do it without all the usual struggle. And this, right here, this is the whole idea we're going to unpack. If you've ever tried to memorize a verse and it just felt like you were hitting a brick wall, well, it's probably not you. It's not a memory problem, it's an approach problem. And the great news is that's actually really easy to fix. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. We're going to walk through a really clear step-by-step blueprint that's going to shift your focus from just repeating words over and over to actually understanding and holding on to them. So, funnily enough, the very first step is actually to stop. We have to stop trying to memorize blindly. Just staring at a page and repeating words is probably one of the worst ways to get something to stick. We need to build a foundation first. And that foundation, it's all about context. Before you even try to memorize a single word, you've got to understand the bigger picture. Seriously, this is the key that unlocks absolutely everything else. So you always start here. Ask yourself, who actually wrote this? Was it Paul, this passionate apostle writing to a church he started? Or maybe it was David, a king, just pouring out his heart in a psalm. Just knowing who is talking gives the words a totally different personality and perspective. And next up, who were they talking to? Was this a letter for a specific group of people who were really struggling? Or maybe a prophecy for a whole nation? This tells you the original point of it all and, helps you avoid taking it the wrong way. And the last piece of the puzzle is why. What was the point? Were they trying to correct someone or encourage them or maybe give a warning? Figuring out the author's reason for writing, well, that's absolutely crucial. And that's the magic of it. Once you know who wrote it, who they wrote it to, and why they wrote it, suddenly the verse isn't just a random string of words anymore. It has meaning, it has a purpose, and that makes it instantly easier to remember because you actually get it. Okay, so now that we have that foundation of understanding, we can get into the actual nuts and bolts mechanics of how our brains are wired to remember stuff. Let's look at the practical side of things. It really just comes down to these three simple, super brain-friendly actions. You break the verse into smaller chunks, you create a picture of it in your head, and then you say it out loud. Let's dig into each one. First off, don't try to swallow a whole verse at once. You gotta break it down into smaller, logical phrases, little chunks. Your brain is just so much better at remembering bite-sized pieces of information. I mean, think about a phone number. You remember it in chunks, right? Not as one super long string of numbers. Same idea here. Okay, next, we get to tap into our most powerful memory tool, and that is visualization. Our brains are hardwired for images. So when you can turn these abstract words into a concrete picture in your mind, you massively increase your chances of remembering it. So, for instance, instead of just trying to remember an abstract word like grace, picture this. Imagine a beautifully wrapped gift being handed to you. You can see it, you can almost feel the weight of it. Now that image, that sticks. And we can even build on it. So if grace is the gift, then faith becomes the action of you reaching out your hands and receiving that gift. So now you've got this little mini movie playing in your head. A gift is offered, and you accept it. That is so much more memorable than just words on a page. Now this last mechanical step, it is so essential. Don't just read it silently in your head. Say the chunks of the verse out loud. Actually get your ears involved. And then, here's the real test. Close the book and try to say it from memory. That act of pulling it out of your brain, it's called active recall, that's what actually forges the pathways and makes it stick. All right, so you've understood it, you've chunked it, you've visualized it, you've said it out loud. But how do you keep it? I mean, really keep it. This next part, this is the secret that most people miss, and it's what separates remembering something for a day from knowing it for a lifetime. The secret is a technique called spaced repetition, and the schedule is unbelievably simple, but it works so well. You review the verse later on the same day you learn it. Then you do it again the next day, then again in 3 days, and finally one more time a week later. Each time you do this, you're basically telling your brain, hey, this is important, keep it. And that simple little review cycle, that's the difference between cramming for a test and actually learning something for good. It's what moves that verse from your short-term, what did I have for breakfast memory, into your permanent long-term storage. But hang on, we are not done yet. Because the whole point of this isn't just to have a head full of verses you can recite, right? The real goal is to have it change how you live. And this final step is the most powerful part of the whole system. And this step is all about making it living scripture. What that really means is you're creating a direct link, an attachment between the verse you memorized and a real world situation. You're not just storing information anymore, you're creating a tool that you can actually pick up and use.
Think of it this way. You decide ahead of time. When I start to feel afraid, this specific verse about peace is going to be my automatic response. Or when I'm facing a health challenge, this verse about strength is what's going to rise up in me. The word becomes active, not just something passive sitting in your brain.
And that is the transformation. It stops being some kind of academic exercise. It's not just about memory anymore. The word literally becomes part of your operating system, shaping your thoughts and your reactions and your life in real time. Because really, at the end of the day, what you put inside of you is what's going to come out of you. When scripture is truly living in you, it will just naturally flow out in your conversations, in the decisions you make, and in the way you help other people. So that's the blueprint. It's really a simple path. You start with understanding, you use these brain-friendly tricks to memorize it, you lock it in with a simple review schedule, and most importantly, you apply it directly to your life. So the only question left is, where are you going to start? What's the first verse you're going to bring to life?